My voice sounds like a pubescent boy. I don't know what's going on. Hello everyone, and welcome back to A+ Life, where we teach teens and teachers how to live a life that feels like an A+. If you are watching this video and you notice this blue stain on my shirt, do not judge me. I know it's there. I took it out of the washer and that's how it was. But it's okay to have a big imperfect blue splotch on your shirt because all month long we're talking about imperfection. The type of imperfection we're talking about this week is failure. Not just like a mistake, but like a big, terrible, stupid, stinky, life-altering, shoot yourself in the foot, fall flat on your face, epic fail. Failure is a part of life, and for most of us, it's a part we hate. And a lot of times when we talk about failure, we hear this theme of losing helps you learn. I kind of loathe that theme. And I loathe it because, like most people, I hate losing. There's never been a coach who told their team, go out there and get that loss. There's never been a senator who ran for office with the intent to lose. And no actor has ever thought, God, that Oscar would be so gaudy in my house, let's just give it to Meryl again. We like to win. But since none of us are perfect, it's impossible to win every time. And when we do fail, it can hit us pretty hard. So I had a winning streak in my senior year of high school. I call it the senior streak. It's a lot less provocative than it sounds. Basically, I won a ton of stuff my senior year of high school. Scholarships, writing contests, the lead in the school play, and I got into my dream school. And when I got to college, I found out that I was gonna give a TEDx talk, which was my life goal. Plus, I made it into a play in my first week of school, and I got elected to the student senate. Everything was on fire, and not just my hair. But shortly after I gave my TED Talk, things started going downhill. I thought that my TED Talk was immediately going to get me a ton of speaking engagements and bring in a lot of revenue. So I made a $2,000 investment to take Josh Shipp's Youth Speaker University class so that I could learn how to be a better youth speaker because I thought I'd be able to pay it off right away. But when I applied to speak at a super prestigious conference that I had done the year before, I didn't get in. And I was upset, but I figured I was fine because I still had a few gigs lined up. And one by one, they all fell through. So then I was really starting to stress out, but I still knew that I'd have a job when I went home for Christmas break. So I figured I'd just use the money that I earned over break to offset the cost of the class. And then I found out that my job couldn't offer me any hours over Christmas break. Pure panic set in. So I started frantically applying for jobs on campus, and I went through 2 interviews without even getting a call back. So I was jobless, gigless, and facing a $2,000 investment square in the face. I had epically failed. I was riddled with anxiety for months, and it controlled everything I did. So if you haven't noticed, when I fail at something, it hits me hard. I've always had extremely high standards for myself, so when I started hitting low after low in my freshman year of college, it killed confidence that took me years to build. I wasn't just experiencing failure, I thought I was a failure. I assumed that I would never make it out of college, never be a speaker, live in debt, and be alone forever. But as time passed, things started to change. Since I didn't have a job over break, my plan was to punish myself by creating more work and start cold calling people for speaking engagements. But a few days into break, I did the inevitable. I cut myself some slack. For the whole Christmas break, I let myself have fun for the first time in months. If I wanted to stay up late watching music videos, I did. If I wanted to put my work away and take a nap, I did. And while I was relaxing, I gave myself some time to consider what I should have been doing to move forward and what I actually wanted to do to move forward. I stopped thinking so much about the business side of speaking and remembered why I loved it in the first place. And as I came out of Christmas break, I realized how much lighter I felt. I felt like I had been holding my breath for about a year and I was finally able to deflate. And even though the next semester was a long road of trial and error, I was eventually able to get some speaking engagements, get a campus job that I love, and pay off my class. High five for me? Anyone? Even though failure had happened to me, I still turned out okay. And I think a lot of teenagers need to hear that. We put so much emphasis on success in today's world that it makes young people perceive failure as this all-encompassing, life-threatening experience. But while I don't think it's ever fun to fail, I do think there are ways to do it gracefully. So my A+ tips this week show us how teens and teachers can learn how to fail fabulously. My first tip is for teenagers. Don't assume that success is the only option. Because while success is amazing and you should always strive to win, failure is a very important part of growing up. Winning makes us assume that we're doing everything perfectly, but failure teaches us where there's room to grow. It changes our perspective and it reminds us of the importance of humility, perseverance, and gratitude. Failure tells us that we're not entitled to anything and that when we do win, we should cherish it as much as we can. The next tip I have is for teachers, and it's to teach teens to aspire for growth, not just success. We all want the best for our teens, but by putting constant pressure on them to be perfect, you don't teach them creative problem solving or how to resolve conflict. It teaches them to avoid unpleasant situations at all costs, stay in their comfort zone, and never be truly vulnerable. And when a failure happens, it crushes them because they don't understand how to be proudly and boldly weak. But when we aspire to grow, we allow for imperfection. We learn that mistakes and setbacks are just part of the process, and winning isn't the only objective to life. The objective to life is expanding our capacity for kindness, grace, and knowledge. And that brings me to tip number 3, which is for any loser, and it's that yes, losing helps you learn. Sometimes we need to go through the bad to get to the good. And when we take the time to learn and grow and figure ourselves out, we remember why we wanted to succeed in the first place. So when we do eventually get the win, success is sweeter than ever. So that's all we have time for this week, but join us next week where we'll continue our conversation about failure with a topic that is yet to be determined. Hashtag midterms are ruining my life. Hashtag no time to plan videos. Hashtag hold me please. Anywho, I wish you all the best in all of your epic wins and epic fails. Thank you so much for watching and have an A+ day.